The iconic actor Sean Connery, known as the original James Bond, the very first James Bond, passed away over the weekend. So, in his honor, let's go through the rankings of the best James Bond movies from worst to first. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Alright, so just a quick reminder, this is all pre-recorded. I'm pre-recording all this week, so I think this one's going to be probably on Tuesday, because on Monday I'm doing the Mandalorian thing. You probably already watched it. You know what? Definitely watched it, because it was awesome. Before we get into this whole thing, let me just give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Also, you can find this video on YouTube at Super Dario World. So, let's get into it, because it's kind of late for me already. But I already recorded one, so let's see how this goes. So, the beloved actor Sean Connery, again, most of you probably know him for his role as James Bond. He's the James Bond, Scotland Forever, the original James Bond. He passed away over the weekend. From what I've read, he passed away, surrounded by loved ones. There are not many details. Maybe in the coming days we'll get more information, but honestly, it doesn't matter. He's dead, and he passed away apparently surrounded by loved ones, so I guess that's a good thing. That's kind of how you want to go, I guess, if you want to freak out your loved ones. But so he passed away, and he has a legacy of a lot of interesting films. I'm sure we're going to discuss them in the show. But for those of you who care, my favorite Sean Connery film is it's not one that you expect. He has a great career. I enjoyed. Obviously, I saw his later career. Before I saw, his earlier stuff as James Bond. I think the first movie with Sean Connery that I ever watched was The Rock, which was awesome. I also have a special place in my heart for Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade. But by far, my favorite Sean Connery movie has to be Dragonheart. So, I'm sorry, it took me a minute because I have a lot of tabs open. But yeah, definitely has to be Dragonheart. He is the voice of the dragon Draco. And I can quote so many things from that movie. If your sword goes up, my teeth come down. It's great. I love it. It's a dragon with a Scottish accent is great. Dennis Quaid is also in the movie. It's ridiculous. It's probably a bad movie overall. If I saw it now objectively, I'd probably be like, maybe it wasn't that great. But I love it. I loved every second of it. Again, because it's a dragon. It's got the voice of James Bond. So, in case anybody cared, that was my favorite movie. But definitely by far the most iconic role that he has. What he's known for the most is the James Bond franchise. He was, as I mentioned several times before, he was the original James Bond. So, for those of you who are wondering, what's my favorite James Bond movie? I'll actually go through it in the rankings. I'll mention which one. But my favorite scene, my favorite moment with Sean Connery as James Bond. You know what? I'll save it. I'll mention it when I reach that movie. I'll tell you what the moment was. But let's just get into this. Let's just go through it because it's 25 movies, and I'm going to try to go through these very quickly. So this is all according to Ranker.com. And, sometimes I have some issues with Ranker, but well, what can you do? Honestly, it's people voting on the internet, and people on the internet are stupid. And so we're going to start off kind of on a rough spot because the worst movie here, according to Ranker, is... Well, it's not Dragonheart. I'm sorry. No, it's Quantum of Solace, the Daniel Craig movie. Now, I did not think that Quantum of Solace was great, but I don't think it's the worst James Bond movie out there. There's definitely worse ones, and so I think this one's unfair. But I mean, what can you do? I didn't vote enough, I guess. But yeah, I would definitely put this one higher. Next, we have is 24. We have Never Say Never Again. Now, this one, supposedly Sean Connery had retired as James Bond, but then he came back for this one. It was really weird. But yeah, definitely not good. It was not good at all. Sorry, Sean. It's unfortunate, but yeah, you're going to have to eat that one. It was not good at all. Next, we have Die Another Day. Now, this is a bad movie. It's with Halle Berry and and Pierce Brosnan. Now, Pierce Brosnan is the James Bond that I grew up with. My very first James Bond movie was a Pierce Brosnan movie. So to me, that was James Bond for the longest time, and it was really hard for me to get over that at one point. But this movie was terrible. The plot was stupid. I think, what were they using? Diamonds to create ice? No, that's Batman and Robin. You see, I don't even remember the plot. I just remember I thought it was silly and the whole thing not impressive, and I don't know why Madonna was in it and why were they fencing. But all right. And by the way, a bad James Bond movie is overall, I think it's an average action movie. So even when it's bad, it's still pretty decent. Next, number 22, we have A View to a Kill. Actually, I don't know why this thing came out that way. Right, there you go. A View to a Kill. This is Roger Moore. All right, yeah. I mean, Christopher Walken's in it, but overall, didn't think it was great. Honestly, if I have to rank him, I'd be Dalton is at the end, and then Roger Moore would be number 2. Like, well, actually, no, there's somebody else. I don't even know the name of this guy, but whatever. I'm not a fan of this movie. Moving on, we have Tomorrow Never Dies, which is another Pierce Brosnan movie. This one, I did not think it was totally terrible. If I'm not mistaken, this is the one where you have the media mogul, the dude who's trying to control all the media and weaponize it, and he has like this special like invisible ship. Now that I'm saying it out loud, it does sound a bit more ridiculous. But this is the one where the hacker with the pen, or am I confusing that with another one? I don't know. They kind of blend together after so many years. But I did not think it was that terrible, at least not all the way down to number 21, but what can you do? Number 20, we have Diamonds Are Forever. This is another Sean Connery movie. I barely remember this one, so okay, I'll give it to you. It's bad if I don't even remember it. Number 19, we have Moonraker. Now, this one has one of the iconic James Bond villains, and it's the giant dude with the metal teeth. Like, I don't remember his name, but it's the only thing, honestly, that I think was memorable of this film, except, like the hotties, but whatever. Next, we have at 18, The World Is Not Enough. This is another Pierce Brosnan vehicle. I don't know why all the Pierce Brosnan movies are so low, man. I don't know. Like I said, this is the James Bond that I grew up with. I like this one. This is the villain, I think, that doesn't feel pain. I'm pretty sure that's that guy, the guy who just can't feel pain. And I thought it was okay. But again, I saw it growing up, so maybe I didn't know what the hell was about. Well, what I was talking about. Number 17, we have the greatest titled James Bond movie, and this is. Oh, when I switch it. Damn it. I think I closed the tab. Let me just give me a sec here. Reopen, close tab. Damn it. Did I mess that up? Obviously, I messed it up. All right. We have Octopussy. Again, it's the greatest titled James Bond movie, and it sucks that it's not a Sean Connery movie, because one of the things that I remember the most of Sean Connery as James Bond is when he walks up, to the office, to MI6 office, and like, "Hello, Pussy." So that's one of the lines I'll never forget in my life. Sean Connery saying, "Hello, Pussy." So him saying "Octopussy" would have been hysterical, but no, unfortunately, it was Roger Moore. So, all right, this one's okay, I guess. I'm not a big Roger Moore guy, but don't hate him. So, all right. Next, we have The Man with the Golden Gun, and this one is way too high. Honestly, I think this is one of the worser James Bond movies, at least from what I remember. It was stupid. That, like I said, I don't remember that well. It's been a minute, and most of the old ones I didn't really care for. So I just remember I thought it was boring. Next, number 15, we have Spectre with Daniel Craig. The best part of this movie is the opening sequence with the whole festival in Mexico City, and it's all downhill from there. So this one actually would have put a little bit lower. I might have switched it out. I definitely would have switched it out with Quantum of Solace, because Quantum of Solace is bad, but I think Spectre was a little bit worse. Next, we have 14, License to Kill. This is a Roger Moore movie. I don't think I even saw it. Like, looking at it and reading the plot, I'm not even sure I saw it. But next we have, for number 13, The Living Daylights. I also don't remember it. I'm pretty sure I saw this one, but I don't remember it at all. I'm not a Dalton guy. I don't care for Dalton. So, whatever. I don't care. Number 12, we have You Only Live Twice. This is with Sean Connery again. Didn't care for it either. It's if I'm not mistaken, he kind of goes to space in this one, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Ah, dude, there's too many 25 James Bond movies, and they all kind of blend together at some point. I just I'm pretty sure I watched it because we had a pack of all the Sean Connery movies. So I'm sure I watched it at some point. I just don't remember it. It's blending together with all the other ones. So let's move on to now the fun ones. Because actually at number 11, we actually start going into the fun ones. And we got the very first James Bond movie I ever watched, and that's GoldenEye. Now, GoldenEye is by far easily the best Pierce Brosnan movie. This is the best one, and it has the best villain because he has 006, aka Boromir, as the villain. I love this movie. It's the first James Bond movie that I watched, and the video game was phenomenal. Like phenomenal. It's one of those video games that I think was made by mistake. Well, it wasn't made by mistake, but it was good by mistake. They weren't actually expecting it to be as popular as it was, or the gameplay to be as fun, because they kind of just winged it. It was like, fuck it, we'll just release something with 007 in it and we'll make money. But it was actually really good. It was really fun. I remember multiple times in my life just getting together with my friends and playing it on the Nintendo 64 and competing and trying to shoot the stupid little guy who just kept running around because everybody always, like, they crouched and ran that way and you could never hit him because he was so tiny. I love that game. I loved it. And the movie it's based on is also extremely good. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's probably the best villain. No, not probably. It's definitely the best Pierce Brosnan villain and the best Pierce Brosnan movie overall. So I would have put this one way higher. 11 is insultingly low for GoldenEye. Next, we have number 10. We got Dr. No. Now, this is the very first James Bond movie overall. It obviously was very successful because it started, 25-year legacy of James Bond movies. It sucks that the one this year hasn't come out yet, but yeah, whatever. What can you do? COVID. So it was very successful, and I'm not sure if they actually had given it as big of a budget as the other ones, but this is definitely the movie that made Sean Connery's career. Made him a superstar, and as they say, the rest is history. Again, we can see everything that's come out from this one. So I would have put it higher just for the historical value. Honestly, just for that. Also because before, the formula wasn't really, they didn't really had a set formula for James Bond, and this is the one that actually started it all. So I would have given it a little bit, of a boost, but they don't ask me these things. Next, we have Live and Let Die. Okay. I don't care for this. Honestly, I would have lowered it. I would have had it a little bit lower. Not a big fan of it overall, mainly because I don't remember much of it. It sucks to say it, but I don't remember much of the Roger Moore movies. I don't remember barely anything of the Dalton movies. I remember that I saw them except one of the Dalton ones, but I don't remember anything particularly extraordinary from this one to come out of this one. From many of the other ones, I can tell you this moment, that moment, but not from this one. And like I said, that's my issue with a lot of the Moore ones, except Man with the Golden Gun. You remember the duel at the end, but whatever. Next we have number 8. We have On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now this is weird because it's none of the regular James Bonds. It's weird. It was kind of a separate movie. I'm not even sure if it was made by MGM. It's weird. It's technically the 6th James Bond movie, and let me just see who does it, who plays here. George Lorenzi or something? Yeah, George Lazenby. Honestly, I don't think I've seen this one. I don't think so. It was. I was going through the list, and I was going through oh yeah, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. The name sounds familiar. I figured I'd go through the description, I'd remember it. No, I was confusing it with another book that had something to do with something completely different. So I probably haven't seen this one. So having it number 8, too high, just because of that. Because I didn't even know that there was another James Bond. So yeah, screw this guy. Whoever he is, screw that guy. Anyway, let's move on to number 7. You know what? Flip this one with GoldenEye. Actually, no, GoldenEye still needs to be higher, and I'll get to that in a minute. So number 7, we have For Your Eyes Only. This is a Roger Moore movie. I've already said how I feel about Roger Moore, so I'm not even gonna waste my time here. I'm dead, by the way. I'm very exhausted. I got burnt out doing the other one. But let's continue. Number 6, we have Thunderball. Now, Thunderball has probably my favorite this is Sean Connery movie, by the way. This is probably has my favorite Sean Connery moment, James Bond moment of all time. And it's kind of become a meme now. Well, not a meme necessarily, but you know how they do memes by clips of movie by movie clips. I love it. And James Bond walks into like a bathroom, and there's the hot chick. You know, she's taking a bath, and she's naked, and she's taking a bath. And so she's like, "Oh, well, what are you doing here? Can you at least give me something to wear?" And James Bond grabs a pair of shoes, hands them over to her, and just sits down in a chair in front of the tub and just, looks at her. And to me, that's just like the epitome of who James Bond was. That's like the iconic James Bond attitude there. That's one of my favorite moments, maybe in film history. I loved it. It's hysterical. And it represented everything that Sean Connery as James Bond was. So, just fun fact there. Just for that, I maybe would have put it a little bit higher. Actually, no, I would put it higher just because of that. Next, number 5, we have my personal favorite James Bond movie, and that's Skyfall. Skyfall was extremely well made. Extremely well. Sam Mendes is a great director. I don't know what happened with all the other ones. Maybe he wasted all his genius on this one, but it is the best made James Bond movie. It has the best villain, maybe, of all the James Bond movies. Javier Bardem, he does a fantastic job. It goes deeper in a lot into his background and all that stuff, and the personal relationships that he has, particularly with them. And so I love this movie. To me, it's my favorite one by far. The action is great, the acting is great, the villain's fantastic, the story it's a long movie, but it keeps you in there every step of the way. I loved it. I loved it. It's probably, like I said, I think it's the best one, but stupid people on the internet, are stupid. Number 4, we have another Roger Moore movie, The Spy Who Loved Me. What can I tell you? I don't care for Roger Moore. It's probably okay, but it's not better than Skyfall. That's going to be my argument here. It's not better than Skyfall, and it's not better than GoldenEye. So, get out of here, Moore. Stupid bastard. But I'll give you this. It is probably the better of the Roger Moore movies. It's probably, but like the worst one is definitely The Man with the Golden Gun. So this one would be probably the top. All right, I'll give it to you. And also the title of this is the one that kind of inspired Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Anyway, moving on to number 3, we have From Russia with Love. This, honestly, I think that this is kind of the most iconic James Bond movie in many ways. This is the first one was Dr. No, but From Russia with Love is the second one, and this is the one that actually kind of started exploding the franchise a little bit. And I'm pretty sure, well, I'm looking at number 1 right now, and I can see why it's number 1, but it's a very close call between this one, Russia with Love, and what number 1 is. But so I'll save it for when I reach number 1. Number 2, we have a Daniel Craig movie, Casino Royale. Now, I love Casino Royale. I think it's the second best Daniel Craig movie, but it's not the second best James Bond movie. Like this, I already mentioned it. It's not even the best Daniel Craig movie. The best Daniel Craig movie, Skyfall. This one's great. I loved it. I loved Eva Green. I love Daniel Craig, who's actually a badass. You actually are afraid that Daniel Craig could kill you. You actually, I grew up with Pierce Brosnan, who was the dude who, would fall into the ocean and get out of it, and his hair's still perfect. Daniel Craig would get his ass kicked on every single scene. Like it's definitely more realistic. And so I like that. I like that he's like an actual badass, and he actually gets injured and stuff like that. And there's actual consequences, or harsher consequences for his body and everything, and for his relationships. I love the twist in the movie. I love the villain, Mads Mikkelsen, but definitely not better than Skyfall, at least in my personal opinion. So I actually would have lowered it a bit. At least flip it with Skyfall. And finally, according to Ranker, the number 1 best James Bond movie, we have the 1964 classic, the third James Bond movie, Goldfinger. Now, I'm a little bit torn, because as I was mentioning, between Goldfinger and From Russia with Love, because I think From Russia with Love has a better villain. Goldfinger, in a way, is kind of lame. I get it. It's iconic. It's the dude that kills with gold and stuff like that. It's iconic in its own right. But From Russia with Love, I think it had a better villain because this guy kind of knew it the whole way. It was a little bit predictable. It was a little bit boring. So I get it. I would have flipped them. So if you're asking me, the best one is Skyfall. Then I would have put From Russia with Love. Then I would have put GoldenEye. And then I would have put Casino Royale. So those, and then number 5 would be Goldmember. So actually, Goldmember or Thunderball? Just because of the scene that I just mentioned, I have to go with Thunderball. Just because of that. So those would be my top 5, in case anybody cared. But yeah, that's it. So there you go. Like I said, Sean Connery passed away this weekend. That's why we're going through this whole thing. These were the rankings according to the internet, not me. I already gave you what I thought would be my top 5. But that's it for today. So as always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. You can find this video if you care. You can find it on YouTube at Super Dario World. Not live streaming this week. This is all pre-recorded. I'm gonna try to, because I'm doing doubles all week, and so I'm gonna try to get stuff done. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do a podcast for every day, but I'm trying here. So hopefully you enjoyed that. That's it for today. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.